This is a webinar that is dealing with DaVinci Resolve. I have it loaded up. The version that I am dealing with has come out just a couple of days ago. I'm looking to identify and define where the software is downloadable from. So in this scenario, I have typed in www Blackmagic Designer, and the support is the location where you would find what is the current version, 19.1.3. So let's start with the premise. Who are we? We are Future Media Concept. We have been doing this for many, many years, and we have many options you can take from. But the point is that when you are done with this webinar, you can actually seek out things that we can do, either on-site, private, custom, anything that is available today in this time and age. Anyways, point is that if you sign up for our classes, you get access to these discounts. My first thing is going to be open up the application. And the application I open up on my dock. Left double click opens up, and I have something already prepped for you. This is just for you so you know who is your trainer, instructor, helper. Command S, Control F. There we go. This is DaVinci Resolve 19.1 webinar. My name. You can look me up, find out what the credentials are, and then we go and continue with the second thing. This is what I set up, and this is what we agreed with our team to work with. Today, I will introduce some things that in 19 was really well done, even though 18 had it already, but in 19 was like really well done. Music remixing. So actually, I'm going to play some song, and I can identify which is the bass, drums, vocals, and all that stuff. Voice isolation. If you have seen that before, this might not be interesting, but if you're a novice to this, this is like really, really cool. Create subcap audio from speech and song. Now, that's something we haven't tested in earlier versions, but now I have a song that is English, and I will actually try and see if the computer can recognize the singing English as opposed to spoken English, which is kind of not that complicated. But again, we are now using this whole big word AI. I don't know if you followed what's happening. You know, there's a whole bunch of investment into AI. So AI is going to be coming along very strongly. Auto white balance is something that you guys probably use a lot, and I don't know what are the ways of doing it other than 2, 3, 4 different ways. I will show you, and if those shortcuts help you, please, by all means, use them. Magic Mask. Magic Mask was introduced a couple of versions before, and it was kind of clunky a little bit, and on some machines, people were giving some feedback that was not positive. Anyways, right now, it's really rock steady, and it's really well done. And then we're going to talk about the smart reframe. Smart reframe basically is you have a show that is done in 16:9, and you need to distribute it for a social media, and the character is not in the proper position. So you need to kind of wiggle around. What are you going to crop it? Well, the smart reframe does that for you. With that, let's you and I start with the audio. The material that we use is now 19 material. So they have a whole bunch of new clips to work with, and I put them together in kind of a string out. I'm going to start right away with the music.
Here come the woman with a look in her eye, raised on leather with flesh on the mind. Words, weapons, sharpened knives, makes you wonder how the other half died.
I cut the beginning of the song off a little bit, so you can see in the timeline that I have. Now, I don't want to complicate things, so I'm going to turn off the video, so there's no graphics on it. It's only thing you hear is music, and you see some video over it. Listen to it and watch what's going to happen next. So now the guy is starting to sing, but this scenario, I have now a option of setting up marking out, go to the first frame marking, go to the next edit point, which in this case is the edit point here. So I have a section selected. That section is going to be the one I'm going to be working with. Because this is an audio component that I'm going to deal with, I am in not the basic media mode. I'm not in the basic cut mode. I'm in the edit mode. And in the edit mode, if I highlight a audio component, which I just did, upper right-hand corner in the inspector, it recognizes it is a musical file, so you can see that. So now, scrolling up and down, you will see a whole bunch of choices, including the mixer is now introduced in 19, that the mixer is part of the element. You don't need to go to Fairlight to mix it and equalize it. But here is the big one that I am addressing. Step one. So with that, you and I are looking at what the music remix is going to be. You notice that the music remix has two choices. One choice is selecting the amount of volume for each of the voice, drums, bass, other, and the guitar. And you can also mute them. So you can actually mute the voice. So for example, if I play it, okay, so the guy is singing just about here. So if I want to mute it automatically, I can just activate the mute. Let's see what happens. Where's the singing? It's muted. Okay, cool. That's smart. If I bring the drums down, not muting it, so I understand the difference between the two approaches. One approach is clearly you mute something as opposed to adjusting the volume. So if I bring the drums down a bit and I play it again, let's see what happens. Here come the woman with a look in her eye. Where's the drums at? Wrist on leather with flesh on the mind. Bring down everything else slightly, and let's see if I can isolate the voice altogether. This is all in real time, guys. Here come the woman with a look in her eye. Wrist on leather with flesh on the mind. Do you hear the difference between what I just said as relates to the muting it and of the balance? So if you are trying to separate something, this is not a bad way of doing it. So the point is that if you are recording a band, or if you have a band that is hiring you to do their video, or you are playing in the band and you're doing the video, and you record a live recording, and it's like really is not that good because the balances are off, you may have a choice of kind of trying to tweak it. Now, that's the music remixer. Now, what is the other one that we used a lot, which was the voice isolation? Voice isolation generally is meant to be used when I'm at the airport and there's a noise. Separate that. That's what voice isolation is. If I am somewhere at a trade show and there's a lot of noise and all that stuff, and the people are talking to me about the product, I threw a voice isolation and it was able to clean it up as much as it's possible. So if I want to use that technique, for example, so let's see if it isolates the music. Does it recognize the music as a global thing instead of using the music remixer? So I'm going to do the voice isolation. Hello. There we go. And I'm isolating the voice altogether. Let's see how that works now. Again, this is not meant for music. It's meant for other noise. You know the woman with a look in her eye. It kind of sounds artificial to me, so that's why I stay away from it. But if I isolate it maybe about 45%, less than half of it, you can hear the music. Here come the woman. It still kind of sounds artificial because it affects everything. So it's not meant for that. But as I said, if you have noise, street noise, anything like that, you're doing interviews or you're doing some dialogue, that's what the voice isolation is meant for. If you use it, by all means, have some fun with that. Otherwise, we're moving along. Because I said that the voice is not just something that we can hear. Voice is going to be separated. How? Well, let's talk about the voice closed captioning. I'm going to get out of the inspector. I will maybe duplicate this sequence because I don't want to use up the original. So I'm going to have two choices. Either I have something that I pre-cut already, or I just go into the webinar start, go upper left-hand corner, open up the media pool, and find the sequence, the story that I'm cutting, which in this case is webinar start. There we go, duplicated, Command-C, Command-V, Control-C, Control-V, or you can also right-click on it and duplicate it. But I'm going to do the start copy. I'm going to call it Hello Closed Caption. The concept of the closed caption is based on two things. I'm going to delete one of the video tracks, which is right click on it, and I'm going to delete that track, delete that track. I need to add physically a subtitle track first. That's what is recommended by the DaVinci team. Add the track first. Okay, so add the track first. We got that. Got it. So anytime you're in doubt and you see that there's a tick waveform, because the waveform in DaVinci does reflect the volume. Let me just refresh you on that one. That's very, very different from any of the other guys. So for example, if I make it thicker, I'll roll it up to 1080. Now you can actually do the volume adjustment in the inspector. If you don't do it in the inspector, you can select manually pointing the cursor on the file, and you can increase or decrease. So for example, if I decrease it and the density shows me that it is less dense than the later portion, and if I go up higher, you can hear the density reflecting the volume. You can see also in the volume control. I'm going to just volume fade out, and this is going to be fade out by using visual, not keyframe based. Fades up and then fades out. So you knew that. Anyways, so let's undo that. My point is that I need to now explain the concept of recognizing the voice that is singing voice and translate it into something that is readable. The way that works in this scenario is the following. Please say hello to your new friend, that you have the subtitle already on the upper track, and right click on the music track and tell the music track, please give me something. Where is it? Well, it's not in the drop down, it's drop down timeline. In the timeline, you create the subtitle. So one more time, I selected a section. I'm not going to use the whole song because it will take time. But if I am selecting a section, so the guy says, here come the woman. Okay, I think that's what he says. But again, he's Australian accent, so I may not be accurate. But point is that, yeah, I selected it. Step one, I in and outed it, so it is a specific area. And the third step is, for me, create subtitle. Now, by definition, I am absolutely amazed how the Australian guys who wrote this script can recognize my accent, British accent, American accent, Southern American accent. Pick any accent and it's English. What other languages are available? Try it if you speak in other languages. Will it recognize automatically? I haven't tried. I tried Spanish. I don't have any Dutch or any other stuff, but you can check it out. So check it out. And if you don't have the success with automatic, try to decide or, work on it. I will actually leave it automatic. It will give me a maximum of characters per line, and we'll deal with that. But right now, just to show you the speed, step one, what I'm going to look for is say hello to your friend, timeline, create subtitles. 1,000 Mississippi, 2,000 Mississippi, 3,000 Mississippi, 4,000 Mississippi, 5,000 Mississippi, 6,000 Mississippi, 7,000 Mississippi. There we go, 8,000 Mississippi. And that says music. Now, in this case, it says music because I started to analyze it music. Oh, so does it make a difference? Yes, it does. So I need to park my playhead where the singing starts. So if I put my playhead just before the guy speaks somewhere or sings, that is going to be a different approach. And this is something that people were saying, well, it doesn't recognize singing. It does if you start the analyzer and put the playhead at the point where the singing starts. So let's see if I'm correct. And if I park on it now, can I separate it altogether? Might be a better choice, but right now I just want to see if it is able to do it. Because if it doesn't work, then I am falling on my face. So let's try that. No, okay, I think I need to separate it. So this is how my separation works. I'm going to separate the music. This is when I start singing. I'm going to cut it up with a blade. Okay, so now the section is a different section. It's highlighted. It's separated. And if I do now the analysis, let's see if I'm correct. I'm going to clear out my source monitor because I don't want to have it. Step one, let's do it right. Because if it's not demonstrated properly, it doesn't sell, right? Let's see. Okay, so Do you see my point? I had to go through this troubleshooting because, as I said, when it was introduced, it wasn't clearly explained how the music. The spoken word is easy. Let's see what the guy's saying here.
I'm Sean Fillion, and
Let's bring the music down, mute it. The guy's talking about something. What is he talking about?
I'm Sean Fillion, and I'm a director and cinematographer, as well as the co-founder of Conservation Film Company.
So we're now talking about a spoken word, okay? He has an accent, and I'm going to slice it down so it's not that long. Go to the beginning of where he starts speaking, which is hello here, and slice it down. This section highlighting. Watch it, please. I park on where he speaks. Step one, step two. Ding, 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 ding. Does it faster because it already did it. Okay, cool. So let's zoom in. Let's see what is he saying.
I'm Sean Fillion, and I'm a director and cinematographer, as well as the co-founder.
Look at the spelling, film company, and all the rest of the stuff. But let's say that I don't like it.
I'm Sean Fillion, and I'm a director. And
now the problem I have with that is sometimes I don't see the stuff because it's the wrong font. So in the inspector, I'm changing what is going on. First of all, I don't like the font. Okay, so what am I going to do with the font? Well, I can change the font. Let's say Open Sans. The position I am actually looking to be lower. Where the lower is? Where's the lower? Oh, okay, I need to do vertical, horizontal. Okay, so I'm going to lower it. I also have some background. Background is what? And here how smart they are. They say, listen, we're going to have it like it fades out. So it's not like hard, but it is cool. So if I look at it now, man, that full screen, look at it.
I'm Sean Fillion, and I'm a director and cinematographer, as well as the co-founder of Conservation Film Company.
I will also do the next ones.
We're based out of South Africa, and we tell character-driven conservation stories.
And the period, it's like proper grammar English. Are you guys kidding me? That's like amazing. As long as you understand, the spoken word is easier analyzed than the singing. And the singing, as you saw, I had to start the exact section where the person sings because otherwise it would say, well, music is playing. I don't know music. So keep that in mind. So now let's go and to do the autocolor. Autocolor is something that we have done many, many times. The reason why I do the auto, because generally, unless you're really given bad footage and unless your footage is not kind of decent, if you set up the black and white levels, or let's rephrase it, the brightness and darkness levels, you're going to be fine because you're going to have contrast. So let me show you how we at FMC train this. And again, this is following protocols. So I'm going to go on a clip, and on this case, I'm going to, let's say, you know what, the second one is the best one because we're going to talk about that. I'm going to get rid of all these titles, not because I don't like them, but it is not the time for me to give you something different. So here's a scenario. The scenario is a pilot that is in a helicopter. Okay, first of all, the framing is going to be wrong because he is further to the right, but we're going to deal with that when we do the reframe. But I'm going to do the magic mask, and two, I'm going to do right now the automatic balance. So here it is. You switch from where you are, bottom left, and you have the workspaces, and the workspace keyboard shortcut for you switch from the Shift 4, which is the edit, is Shift 6, and Shift 6, now you're in color. Now in color, there are a whole bunch of defaults and everything else, but I will now show you how colors. If you never dealt with color, please come to us, take the training. If not, watch YouTube videos, figure out what's going on. But right now, here are the 3, maybe even 4 different ways of setting up the balance. Now, the scopes are something that people kind of like. The scopes are basically coming up and telling you what is the maximum brightness, darkness, what is the blob, the color, what is the color in horizontal, what is the color in vertical. So all these things that I am working with, but the one that is really important for us is the waveform. The waveform is going to be set up to be just the waveform of the brightness, not the waveform of the colors. And you notice that the numbers are from 0 to 1024 because we're in 10-bit. 8-bit is 256, 9-bit is 256 times 2, 512, and the 10-bit is 1024. So 0 is a character. So DaVinci always makes everything that is brought into it as a 10-bit. I'm looking at the thing. You choose language. Okay, I got the language out of the way. Free version doesn't work. Oh, sorry. Again, free version. I do this black magic. Yeah, listen, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not in the marketing point. I am sorry to show you something that is not available. But A lot of people, especially in the New York metro area, are switching over from other applications because just of these voice recognitions and this closed captions and the simplicity of it. Let me just finish up the last one. Okay, just saying. Yeah, Eric, you're right. You're absolutely right. I do understand. Listen, it's a business. And I do understand that if it helps you and it's worth it in one job, pays for it, it's worth it. Anyways, my point is that I'm going to now set up. So I'm going to only deal with the non-color, just the brightness element. And you can see how the brightness is all the way to the maximum. The darkness is down to the minimum. This tool may or may not be useful to you, but I'm saying to you that now I'm going to set up the automatic balance. Automatic balance is very simple. Option S, add a node, and you can name it. I'm going to call it node label auto balance because I will use the automatic tool bottom left hand corner, the default. What's the default? Guys, in the workspaces, you generally want to always set up the reset user interface so it actually defaults to this. So I'm going to close this guy. So now I have all the things because you might have ended up someplace else and whatever else you have. And so let's see if the system resets it back to read. Yeah, it resets it to back to. The size of the nodes is optional. You can zoom in and out. You can use your mouse. I use my mouse roller for a lot of things. For example, if I am inside here, I've used that a lot. Anyways, my point is that automatic balance, you've seen that before. Bottom left hand on the top of the primary is auto balance. It doesn't do too much, but it does enough for me to see the difference. So if I have it without, with, it gives me more contrast. If you want to see what it looks like visually, show the scope. And this is where we explain the difference between how things are. I'm going to use the RGB, brightness, darkness, but not the parade waveform. Look at it without the color and without it, with it. Essentially, and this is what the confusion is, the auto balance doesn't do anything else other than says, I'm going to push the brightness to the maximum and bring the darkness to the minimum. So it is a kind of automatic. And when you say automatic, it's kind of not working for everybody. So for example, if I'm on this shot and I want to do the same thing, you can see that the brightness is the sun. Okay, that's the bright signal, and the dark is not dark enough. Option S, watch how the auto balance works there. It brings up the sun and brings the darkness down. So, wow, look at it, auto balance looks good. Yeah, but your dark is like way dark and the bright is like way bright. I don't care. YouTube will fix it. Fine. I'm going to give you one more. This is like very washed away. You see, everything is like hazy. Here's the shot. Okay, so if I do the auto balance, guess what's going to happen? As I just said, it will push the brightness to the maximum and bring the darkness to the minimum. Cool. Let me show you the difference between the two. Command D turns on and off. Command F makes the full screen. So I'm playing the zebras. Beautiful. Look at it. The contrast comes to the stripes. I can see the stripes. If I do Command D, it takes it off. Everything is hazy. If you like this automatic, it works for you. Not everything is that easy. So let's go back again to the guy. You have two choices. One choice is either turn it off, delete it, or make a version. In this case, I'm just going to turn off the auto balance one. I'm going to add another node, and that node is going to be option S later. So anything that in the stream from left to right is going to be adjusted. This is going to be a different way. When I said auto balance, I said minimal darkness, maximum brightness. Okay. Do you notice that in the bottom left-hand corner where the color wheels are? I have a crosshair to the left. Left is the dark area. So I identify what the darkest area is going to be. Let's say it is going to be under his head. That's the darkest area. And the brightest area, which is gain, is going to be, let's say, this on his shoulder brightness. There we go. Not much change, did it? If I reset it, watch what happens. I'm going to decide that a brighter area will be darker. What? Like this area is going to be darker. Oh, so it is not picking the black or white. It defines what's going to be the darkest. Uh-huh. So it is a different kind of concept. It's not defining, oh, you'll pick the black. No, I am defining what's going to be the darkest. So if I have a dark to be dark, guess what? That's going to change minimally. If I have a lighter area to do dark, watch this. Because I decided that that is the darkest element. Really cool. I made it night, day and night. That's it. It's a different show. Look at it. Without, with sunset, early morning. Oh, sorry, we can't have a shot. Can we do it daytime and we'll do it color later? Yes, we just did. So now you can play with that at will. But my point is that this picker is a different picker than the eyedropper. Whoa. Okay, so let's find out what this is. Going to turn it off, add one more node, Option S. This is not necessarily the best way, but I am giving you choices. So the eyedropper is a very unique one. The eyedropper says if the gray should be gray, it will be made gray. If the white should be white, I'll make it white. In digital, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, the digital numbers from 1 2023 are defining what your mix is. So if you have the same amount of red, green, and blue, it's going to be either a gray, black, or bright. And my tool is going to be now help you understand what I'm talking about. If I presume that this is a white cloud or white view of the horizon, I can actually tell my system, please show me a color picker. So I'm going to have a color picker. Where's the color picker? Grab all steals. No. Sorry, wrong one. Color picker. So the color picker is going to be in not 8-bit, but 10-bit. And color picker say, if I click on it, I need to show it. Okay, show me the color picker. Wait a minute. Where is the color picker? Did I decide it? I don't think I grabbed it. Show color picker in 10-bit. Good. And there we go. So if I click on it, it should actually show me the value. If it doesn't show the value, now I'm telling it to show the value. Look at it. What's the value? 864, 891, 895. That's close enough. What about the dark area? 8475 is close enough. But if I look at the neck is 327, 255, 240. The neck is clearly not gray. If I want to make the black black, I can say, hey, make the black black or make the white white. 900, 9099, 910. That's close enough. So here's what the eyedropper does. Evens it out. Watch what happened. Nothing to the waveform. Oh, because you're not dealing with brightness, we need to do color. So switch it over to the vector scope. Let's look at the vector scope. This is just 2 seconds of your time. Not 2 seconds, 30 seconds, because I need to move along. So watch it. You see the blob is in the center. So if I click in the middle, I'm going to reset it. Look at where the blob is. I'll make the white white. Minute, almost unnoticeable. But if I go here on the cloud and I say, hey, I want to have the cloud not this reddish one, I want to have it white. So if I turn off the thing, I lose the color. But if I add another element, and this is where the nodes come in, watch it please. I'm going to make sure that this is white. 720, 611, that's not white. Grab the eyedropper, watch it. Wow, it cooled the day off. Look at it big screen, without, with. Ah, I took out the red. No, I evened out, so the cloud or the sky is gray. So that's what this is, and it's automatic in a way. So these are your three kind of color balances if you care for them. All right, so let's now jump into the magic mask. And there are 2 different flavors that I'm gonna just do with this particular exercise. The general principle of the magic mask is that you are separating a object or an element of the image from a background. Therefore, you use your color tool. I generally add a new fresh node. So on the fresh node, I will activate in the color tools the choice of magic mask. And the magic mask is allowing you to do a couple of things. One option obviously is that you work on an object, and the other option is that you work on a person. In this case, I'm going to make the person an object as opposed to picking up his face or arms or whatever. Step 1 generally starts from the beginning or the ending. Otherwise, you have to deal with these navigation tools. And the first step obviously is that decide what is that you are selecting as a object footprint. So here is my drawing. It doesn't have to be precise. That's the whole point of the magic mask. So if I selected it, I would like to see it. There is a button that I generally use, which is a highlight button. It doesn't turn it into a red, it just highlights what was selected. And the next step obviously is going to be tell it to be selected throughout the whole segment, which means that you have to track motion. So here's how it goes in real time. This is all real time. And I can count numbers or I can, recite something, but essentially it starts off with 5 minutes, then it gets down to like a minute, and it's gonna go speed up 50 seconds. And you can see the tracking, this is real time, in the green line, suggesting that it is moving at a decent pace, depending on your CPU, depending on your graphics card, and depending on amount of your RAM. When it gets done, it will separate the object, in this case the character who is talking, from the background. And let's see how that looks. Now we're dealing with this in the color page. I'll also show you a little bit later how the Fusion page does it a little bit differently. So in this scenario, the object is highlighted, and if I want to make sure that I maybe darken the background or brighten the front, doesn't matter which one, I generally see people add a outside node, which is the inverted. Okay, so in the outside node, I say, let's say I'm going to have that outside node turn into darker, or brighter. So now you can see that it is really working. Now, the issue here is obviously what is that you want to adjust. If I want to have the outside node darker and the inside, which is actually the foreground, I'm going to make it black and white. So I'm going to make the saturation down. There we go. So now we have that. Is it playing real time? Let's try it out. Yes, it does. But here you're still dealing with one layer. Now, I'm going to get out of this and I'm going to redo the exercise, and I'm going to show you something that in the Fusion is a little bit different. You switch from the regular color to Fusion. Fusion is a animation tool, and the animation tool the animation tool identifies this as the media. So if you want to see it, you would right click on it, and it should actually show the thing, show the picture. There we go. So that's the picture. If I move it, it should refresh it. Let's see if it does. There we go. So there's the picture. Now, in that tool that we just opened up, you have a whole bunch of effects. Right click on it, drops down, adds the tool, and the tool I'm looking for is a matte effect. A matte effect is the magic mask. Magic mask comes up as a effect, and the magic mask effect has to be now in between the original shot and whatever the media is going to be at the end. Therefore, I'm going to break the connection from the media, which is the image, put it into the yellow input, and now I have chosen to deal with magic mask. How does the magic mask work? The same principle. Generally, you rewind everything to the beginning, step one, step two, the tracking is activated, and again, you pick the element. In this case, I'm going to pick, again, the guy, and let's see what this does differently. Tracking obviously has to be addressed, and you track it from beginning till the end. So now you will see the progression of the timeline, meaning the timeline of the Fusion. You see that red line going across. That suggests that that is tracking the movement. The difference here is that it is actually taking out the background. Therefore, there is no background. And if you have dealt with the Adobe family of graphics and animation, you know that the checkered area is the see-through area. That is the transparent area. Therefore, the object is opaque, and the character is going to be seen, and the transparent area, which is the checkered, is the see-through area. Therefore, we can put a different background behind him. Now, so let's see how it is working in Fusion when it's done, real time. Okay, good. So now we're going to get out of it. We're going to go back into edit. And on the edit, you will see that there's a black background, which means that there's a transparent because it's on video track 1. I'm going to shrink down my video track a little bit, make sure that I'm magnetically connected. I'm going to pull it up, so it's going to be on track 2. And I'm going to put some nice background under it. What's going to be the background? Okay, put them into the place where here it is. Just dragging it. There we go. And now you look at it. So now the background is done. And it's as simple as that. So you would have to understand that. So now you know that the Fusion Magic Mask is working this way. And I'm going to do the reframe because the reframe is going to be fun. I'm going to park on the guy, and I would like to have it sent out to social media. Okay, and what does that do? Well, I would like to have him sent out to social media. Yeah, but the system is not set up. System is set up as 16 by 9. Going back to the basic and tell the computer, please set up your project settings, and the project settings is going to be vertical resolution. So it's going to be vertical. So now my show is a different show. Let's see if I'm correct. Okay, so the guy is, okay, now he is in the middle. Is he? Well, let's, you know what? Let's say Jake takes everything off. And if I play it, he kind of wobbles. He's going out and in. You see that? So he's not staying in the center. I have to kind of keyframe it. Not anymore. Not anymore. Is there a way to do that in the edit? Yeah, let's find out. Park on the clip. Ante smart reframe. Okay, so let's get the guy back in there. Watch it before. He's not in the center all the time. Smart reframe. Now if I play it, he's in the center. Now, if I go to this guy, remember this guy? I actually put him into the reframe, so the reframe option is already on him. I'm going to bring in a new clip. Let's check the story back. The story, again, is, remember, we talked about just a minute ago, is going to be 16 by 9. There we go, so 16 by 9. So he is toward the right side of the image. So if you want to look at it, full screen, there we go. So I'm going to go onto the clip. Step 1, change the playback to vertical. So this is, let's say, the iPhone. Okay, so he's not in the center. And if I want to be accurate, let's see if that works. It should work. Auto reframe. Okay, look where he's at now.
We need reliable gear that can withstand the elements and won't let us down when we need it most.
Okay, let me just go back. Set it up. Right click, project settings. Project settings go back to normal. And that's it. Thank you for watching. Spread the word and good luck.